Hi everybody, and happy December. We are now starting into, what are we calling it? 4 weeks of Merry Knitmas, and this is week 1, December 1st. It has been sneaking up on us, I'm sure you would agree. So each week, Wednesday at 4 p.m. live, I will post a video featuring different inspirational knitting projects to help you get through the holiday gift giving season. And this week we're going to start at the bottom with socks. Socks are an excellent Christmas gift and everybody seems to appreciate them, but the problem usually is when you knit them the first pair of hand knit socks, they just want more and more every single year. So that's not a problem for us because we do love to knit and we love to gift what we make. So these are the top 10 favorite socks for the year, and I will go through each one and show you some of the color options and tell you a little bit about the pattern. So let's start with, where is it? This one here. This one is quite a popular boot sock. We've had it in the shop for a few years. It's called Ridge Socks, and the name comes from the very simple ridge pattern. It is a beginner level. If you're comfortable knitting socks from the top down, it is a beginner level. The pattern is not complicated at all. So the pattern here shows it in a charcoal with a light gray for the heel and toe, which is sort of a classic work sock look. And the socks are knit up in worsted weight, 100 grams. You can choose to do one color or 2 colors. So here we've used a light parchment color at the top and then a heathered blue shade. I've put all the colors, well, not all the colors, but some examples here in the basket to show you. So these are 100 gram skeins, and they are 200 meters. Worsted weight, it is a wool acrylic with nylon blend. It's very soft and comfortable for anyone who has sensitive feet, and they are machine washable. So what you'll find is that you can knit 2 pairs with 2 skeins. So the second pair will be this for the main, and then your main color will become the contrast color. Needle size required, depending on your tension, is 4 millimeter double point, or you can use your circular in the magic loop style. We have 1, 2, 3 different sizes, foot sizes, in this pattern, so that will cover ladies, medium large, men's medium large, and this is the ladies' small size, which would be a size 7 to 8. It's always good, and another tip about knitting socks, it's always good to knit them a little bit shorter than the actual foot length because you want them to stretch and fit the foot very firmly, not have any slouch or slackness. So if you can measure somebody's foot or you're not sure, just go into a little bit of guessing and maybe knit half an inch shorter. So that is our Ridge socks. We do have the kits in store, and we're happy to do mail order for any of the socks that you see today or anything else in the store. So the next ones we have are also in the same type of yarn. It is a worsted weight, and you've got the same colors to choose from. This is called Keeper of the Woods socks. And they do have a very simple little pine tree on either side of the leg. They're also knit on 4 millimeter double point needles. So again, it would be a very simple pattern. There's no cables required, no cable techniques. It's just a very simple purl and knit pattern, and you can see the pine tree. Maybe I should bring that closer. So a nice outdoorsy boot sock or slipper sock around the house. It would be great for Christmas morning, sitting around the Christmas tree. And it would be really fun. We've had a couple people doing it in this bright Christmas red. And so you get a red Christmas tree instead of a beige natural, or you could do it in a charcoal. There's a lovely heathered green, which looks like pine tree green. There's a denim blue, and that really pretty rose heather for a feminine pair of socks. So this one takes, I think it's 1 skein for the small size, but that would be a small women's. Yeah, so 100 grams for small, 200 grams for medium, 200 grams for large, and then if you buy 3 skeins, you'll get 2 pairs of socks. So you don't have to worry about having too much yarn in your stash basket. You can use it up on a second pair. So far, I think all the socks I'm showing you today are worked from the top down with a slip stitch heel and the grafted toe. And then the next pair we have are Alpaca My Socks. And these are worked in a fingering weight wool nylon blend, machine washable, on 2.75 millimeter needles, double point. And they are worked from the top down, so you do have a chart to do the alpaca design. And then the rest of the sock has a nice textured knit purl pattern to give it some surface interest. So 3 balls are required because it is 3 different colors. And we do have the matching hat too. This pattern is on Ravelry. I'll put all the links in the comments below so you can have a look at instructions, needle sizes, yarn requirements. And for a close-up of those cute little critters with their sweet faces. So that is Alpaca My Socks, and you will have quite a bit left over of the cream and the beige, so if you decide to do the hat pattern, you only have to buy the main color and then use up the contrast colors. What else can I tell you? I have seen on Ravelry quite a few different color combinations. You could do the alpaca in a self-striping color, something like this instead of a solid color. You could do the background in a fun cherry pink. You could do pale pink alpacas. You could do a purple main color. You could really make them fun and colorful if you like. And then next up we have our stairway sock pattern. This has been a really classic favorite this year, done in many different yarn colors and yarn stripe sequences. This one just happens to be a little bit sparkly, which would be fun for the holidays, very festive. And it's knit in Opal Magic Sky. So it has built-in twinkles. I'll bring it up to the camera so you can see a close-up. Very pretty shades of blue, soft green, dark denim, and cream. So our stairway socks are knit also on a 2.75 millimeter double point needle set, and it's a very simple knit 2 purl 2 pattern that keeps working on a diagonal. So it creates almost like a stairway effect. They also give a little bit extra stretch and elasticity over a plain stockinette stitch pair of socks. So in the Magic Sky we just have the one color, but they would look also very pretty in a soft denim blue or that soft green heather, or some of the other pretty ones on this side. Actually, these are worsted, ignore that. These are the fingering weight. That is the right basket to be looking in. And then the next pair of socks we have are, oh, they are just so luxurious and soft. And these are knit in our own house brand yarn, Muskoka Yarn Goddess Eco Alpaca, which is a super fine baby alpaca with nylon. So it is washable. I would say put it on the delicate cycle because it is a delicate yarn. Do not put it in the dryer. Hang to dry, fold over or rack to dry, dry it flat, or put it on a sock blocker. So these are knit with 100 grams of the yarn right in front of the camera. I'll bring it closer so you can have a look. And it is a very simple pattern. Again, it would be one step up from beginner. Knit from the top down on a 2.50 millimeter double point needle, slip stitch heel, grafted toe. Very luxurious, very soft, a nice sort of early morning reading in bed sock, or sitting around the fire in the evening, or just a nice dress sock to wear in your favorite pair of boots or shoes. So that is a close-up. The yarn has a little bit of color variation in it, very subtle. And there is a close-up of the yarn that we've used. Fingering weight, 100 grams. One skein will make one adult pair of socks, and the yardage is 400. So we do have quite a few pretty pastel shades in stock, and it's also a great gift idea for somebody who knits. You could put together a skein of yarn, needles, and the pattern, and they would have something to work on after Christmas. So that is called Tranquil Morning Socks, also on Ravelry, and it is a faux cable. You're not using a cable needle. It looks like there's a twist, but that is just done with your double point needle. So that is sock number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're halfway done. Over here we have our heaviest weight socks, knit in a chunky wool. And again, this is a blend of wool, acrylic, and nylon, machine washable. It's very plush, very soft to the touch. And these are knit top down, and these are called On the Rocks boot socks. They are too heavy to wear inside shoes. They must be worn with a looser boot or as a reading sock or a slipper sock. But anybody who works outside would appreciate a nice thick pair, I'm sure, like this. So this is using 100 gram skeins of our salt and pepper, and then so altogether you have the 3 colors. So we use 4 skeins. It does need 2 skeins for the main color and 1 of the red and 1 of the cream. But the good thing is that you will have lots of leftovers so that you can knit not just a pair of socks with the 4 skeins, you can knit a pair of wrist warmers too. So On the Rocks is a series of Canadian iconic style accessories. So we do have the boot socks, the wristies, we have a toque, and we have a cowl with the drawstring. You'll see those coming up in future episodes of the 4 weeks of Merry Knitmas. So these socks are knit on size 4.5 millimeter double point needles, which is a great thing because if you're just a few days before Christmas and you've forgotten somebody on your list, you'll have time to knit these up over a pair of these. When you see the size difference between the 4.5 and the 2.75, and it's a week before Christmas or a few days before Christmas, always go with the bigger needles, and then you're not going to be as stressed and worried about finishing them. So that is On the Rocks boot socks, and then these have been super popular this week, probably because I've posted them on social media. These are our lemonade socks, and they are knit with a solid color, a main color solid, and then a self-striping contrast color. So we've put together a charcoal gray for our combination with the ochre self-striping sock yarn, fingering weight, and these are wool with nylon, machine washable. And the pattern is again knit from the top down, knit 2, purl 2 ribbing, and then it goes into a very interesting slip stitch pattern. So each row of color is worked on its own, not in a ferrule technique. So if you're looking at the pattern, you would be knitting 2 stitches, slipping a stitch, knit 2, slip a stitch. And for some of you it might look like brickwork. I think it looks like Christmas lights. And then we have the slip stitch heel worked with both colors, main color and contrast color. And then there's a nice plain section before you pick up your contrast again and work in the slip stitch and the grafted toe. So I'll bring those up closer. So lemonade socks worked from the cuff down. Lots of fun to pick colors, but I would say to get the most pop, you should have a dark main color, and then the bright colors will show up more effectively. If you go with a pale off-white or beige for the main color, then you're not going to see as much contrast. So they are a fan favorite for sure, and I will post links to the pattern. We do have the kits in stock, and they're knit on 2.75 millimeter double point needles. And then over here we have our fun speckled colors, which again look like Christmas lights or confetti on a cake. And these are knit in Richard DeVries hand-dyed feed, which is a sock yarn. It is merino, superwash merino with nylon. And I think we just happen to have one of his colors right here. So a 100-gram skein will knit an adult pair of these. It's 80% merino, 20% nylon, 420 yards. And they really have a nice stretchy feel. But they're also very sturdy too, because Richard's yarns have a very high twist, so they're not going to wear out as easily as yarns that have a very soft twist. So a close-up of our Good Day socks. Just a very interesting rib pattern and a little bit of eyelet in all the right places. So for these socks at the moment, we do have a good supply of colors. I've just picked some of the more popular ones. This is Carnival, which is very much like the colors in the sock sample. There are corals and blues, lime greens, pinks, orange, a little bit of red. And this is called Birds of Paradise. It has predominantly bright, lively green shades, bright purple, teal, and some pinks as well. And for something a little softer with a wintry vibe, this is Frazzle Ice, and this one has speckles in navy blue, and it's a creamy base with shades of light turquoise into bright turquoise. And this one is Purple Grenadier, so that has nice hot wintry shades as well that will warm you up. Royal blue, burgundy plum, purple, fuchsia magenta. And Morning Mist, This is actually the one we've used for our shop sample. It's not Carnival, but they are very similar. So Morning Mist has lots of bright blues, turquoises on a creamy base, and bright yellow, green, and orange into coral. And this one again is more subtle with shades of coral, gray, medium blue, pale gray, and that was called Footnotes, yes. And the last one is Lake of Bays, and this one is very earthy with pops of teal, turquoise, charcoal, and burnt sienna red. So one skein, hand dyed, would make a lovely pair of these socks, which are called Good Day socks. And then we also have nice bright Christmas colors, or Hudson's Bay colors, whichever way you look at it. Right now all I can see are Christmas colors here. So these are the iconic stripes: red, white, yellow, navy, and bright green. And these are dyed by Timber Yarns, Ontario yarn dyer. So what you see is 2 skeins in a set, 2 50-gram skeins. One skein knits each adult size sock. They are perfectly matched so that wherever you start in the first skein, your second sock will match perfectly from top to bottom. So all the hard work is taken out for you. All you have to do is sit and relax and cast on. These we've knit with 2.75 millimeter. It's our classic store pattern that we give out free with purchase of any sock yarn. It's basically just knit 2, purl 2, ribbing at the top, stockinette stitch throughout the body of the sock, and a slip stitch heel and grafted toe. So Timber Yarns makes this fingering weight of 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and the yardage is 400 meters. Made in Canada, and that's a good thing. Each sock set does come with a stitch marker, and this is colorway O Canada. Now what we've done for the heel and toe is throw in one of Timber Yarns mini skeins in the dark blue, so that you're not getting a striped heel or a striped toe. So if you decide to use the mini with the sock set, that will stretch out the yardage even further, and you'll have enough left over to knit a baby pair of socks without buying any more yarn. And this is quite a large size adult sock sample here. We've gone with 60 stitches cast on a 2.75 millimeter. If you're a loose knitter, then you should go back down to 2.5 or 2.25 because you don't want your socks to be airy, see-through, or loose. The looser they are, the quicker they wear out and they tend to stretch. So for sock knitting, we always suggest you knit a little bit firmer than you would for mittens, hats, cowls, sweaters, and so forth. So that is Timber Yarns, and then we do have, I guess it's just one more pair to show you. Okay, and this is our 10th most popular sock pattern or sock recipe this year. These are called side-away socks, and they're knit in the fingering weight in this basket. I'll show you closer. 2.75, and it's just a take on an old-fashioned Guernsey style pattern where there is some stitch play and some reverse stocking stitch in between. So it's all just knitting and purling and playing with the stitches, and that creates a very interesting zigzag effect. So the stitches go to the left and then they go to the right. And again, slip stitch heel, and grafted toe. So this is one skein, 100 gram. I'm going to bring the colors a little closer. They're all really nice classic shades with a heathered tone to them. So we have the turquoise heather bottom right, we have the medium green heather above it, and then the parchment, and then we have that soft gray flannel at the top, pretty pink heather in the middle, and this one is very hard to tell. It's not a gray, I would say it's more, well, there are shades of blue, red, and green together in the heather effect. Very Scottish looking. And then we have a blue heather with shades of lilac in it. And then we have a pretty lilac heather and the charcoal gray. So 100 gram skein. So you can knit a pair of socks for under $14 in this yarn. It's very hard wearing. 437 yards. And it's a blend of wool, acrylic, and nylon, so it's great for the wash machine. So that's it. That is the 10 most popular socks of KNITMAS. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments, send me a message, and I will be back next Wednesday at 4 p.m. for week 2 of the 4 weeks of Merry KNITMAS. Thank you everybody for watching, and enjoy your day.